Hello you lovely lot, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be talking about the 5 reasons why your Etsy jewellery store, or indeed any jewellery store, isn't selling. I've been specialising in building, repairing and upgrading Etsy jewellery stores for the last 10 years, and I know the industry on the platform inside out. And when sellers come to me with problems with their jewellery store, it's the same 5 problems over and over again. Let's get into these problems. The last one, number 5, is an absolute killer and you really need to pay attention to it, as well as the other 4. Let's get into it. Right then, problem number 1, and you're not going to like me saying this, but I have to say it because it's the truth. The amount of Etsy jewellery stores I see that come to me that aren't selling, it's simply because the jewellery quality is not good enough. So when I see low quality jewellery stores, low effort jewellery, or jewellery where it's a bracelet with a charm on it or a very simple necklace, I see a lot of low grade polymer clay jewellery, jewellery that is not remotely fashionable, remotely on trend. I'm going to be talking about a certain type of jewellery in the last point of this later that you mustn't make because you just won't make any sales with it. You've got to produce what is in demand. And we've got to remember that 83% of the customers on Etsy are women. The primary age range of buying is 25 to 45. So what kind of jewellery are these women buying? Are they going to be buying fluorescent jewellery? Are they going to be buying plastic jewellery? Are they going to be buying sort of polymer clay jewellery? Probably not. And then when you look at what they are buying, you've got to get the quality up. So you look at what designs are selling. Notice that generally speaking, minimal, daintier styles of jewellery sell way quicker than anything else. So once you get into bulky jewellery with loads of pieces attached to it, the sales drop off because most of the customers, they just don't want to buy this type of jewellery. So make sure you know how to make decent jewellery and you know how to source decent components and have an eye for design. And if you don't know, take a course or go to college or learn on YouTube. You can find everything you need to know pretty much on YouTube and get that design level up. There's no point in opening a jewellery store if the quality is not there because you just won't sell. And if you're not sure whether you've got the quality or not, put your store name in my comments and I'll let you know. I'll give you a simple yes or no if the quality is there or not. I'll help you right now in the comments for this video. So number 1, quality of jewellery. Get the standard up and you will sell more. Let's get into the next one. Problem number 2, I see this every week in my Etsy consultancy when I'm looking at jewellery stores. It's poor quality photography and video, and there's something specific you have to know about jewellery photography that you need to do. So I see photographs in stores, they're washed out, they're dull, they're too dark, bad context between the jewellery for sale and the background, confusing backgrounds, jewellery cut off in the photography shop. Just so many problems that seem to appear over and over again with jewellery listings that sellers don't seem to sort out. One way that you can help yourself with photography is macro. Use macro photography because macro photography allows you to blow away or blur the background of your shot of, say, a bracelet or a necklace. So you get the focus in on the product because the background is blurry. It looks ultra professional and it solves a multitude of staging problems for you when you're trying to make your photos look nice. Because jewellery, such a big part of this is brand. You've got to get your brand into your photography and video so that people start to buy into that emotional connectivity with the jewellery that you sell. Macro photography is your friend for this. Get the lighting nice and bright, blur away the background, and you will have ultra professional looking photos. And again, it's much easier to set up when you're blurring backgrounds. Everything doesn't have to look quite so perfect. Let's get on to the next tip. Tip number 3, you've got to list more items. So if you've got 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 items, 40, generally this is nowhere near enough Try to move up to 100 items. I know so many of you have heard me say this, but it's with very good reason. How many winners in your jewelry store do you expect to find with 20 items? How many? How many products do you think are going to win out of that? Not very many. Maybe one, maybe two. If you've got 100 items in your store, you can find more winning products, which gives you more identifiable information about what the buyers want from you in the style of jewelry that you create. This is so important. Make a plan. And some of you, I know you're going to say it in my comments, so I'm going to answer this now. You'll say, I can't get to 100 items, Nick. I can't do it. Okay, don't worry. Just make a commitment to get as close as you can to 100 items. You can check yourselves. Bigger stores sell more items. I don't know how many times I need to say this to you guys. Try to grow as close to as you can to 100 items. If you can't get there, just do what you can when you can. Try to list as many items as you can. It's so basic, but so important. Let's get on to the next tip. Right, tip number 4 is price. Go and look right now and find 5 Etsy stores that sell jewelry with over 10,000 sales and look at the prices in those stores. You will see, not always, but mostly, the pricing of Etsy stores that do really well with jewelry is usually between 20 and 50 US dollars. As I said, there are exceptions, of course there are, but generally around this price point, jewelry that sells at 25, 30, 35, $40 flies out the door if people like the designs you're creating. The reason why the jewelry sells so quickly at this price point is there is no thinking required by the customer about whether they can afford the jewelry. No one's going to think about spending $35 on a bracelet, an everyday bracelet, or an everyday necklace, right? If you've got to spend $200, there's thinking involved. So sellers also always say to me, oh, my jewelry store's not selling. And I look at the jewelry, it's $200, $300, $500 or more. No, of course not. There's not the volume of customers for those price points. And if you are selling in those price points well, you've usually got a good brand to go with it. So people already know who you are. So price, just cover the basics. $20 to $50, sell into those price points. You're more likely to sell more often with more items. Let's get on to tip number 5. This is a huge one. Let's get into it. Okay, my final tip for why your jewelry is not selling is something I know that some people don't like me saying, but I have to say it because it's a fact. And that is, generally speaking, the bigger the pieces of jewelry you make, the less sales you're going to take. Because the bigger the piece of jewelry, the braver the woman has to be to wear it. So when you go and look at stores that, jewelry stores that have 10,000 sales, 50,000 sales, ask yourself the question, when you look at the items for sale, where are the women wearing this jewelry? Why did they buy it? And you will find the jewelry is quite minimal. It's quite dainty. It's not shouting a message from the neckline or the wrist saying, look at me, bright, oversized, overbearing, heavy jewelry only has a limited appeal. You're not going to get big volumes of sales selling large, bulky, attention-grabbing jewelry. More minimal, more dainty, everyday jewelry is what really, really shifts on Etsy. Because then the customers buying, mostly women, can wear it to work. They can transition out of work and go out for the evening wearing the same jewelry and not have to change. These are all the things that women are thinking about when they're buying jewelry on Etsy. And you need to tap into that bulk area of the marketplace to sell into. So just remember, along with the other tips, when you're doing your design work, when you're creating jewelry, sure, be creative. There's nothing wrong with being creative, but remember size. Remember not to make two things things too large. You will lose sales because of it. I've worked with countless stores on size specifically with jewelry stores, and believe me, smaller sells a lot faster. So if you have a jewelry store and you want me to check it out, put the name of your store in my comments. And if you need help with your store, be it jewelry or any store, don't hesitate, don't guess, book a consultation with me. The links to do that are in the description of this video, and I look forward to working with you and turning around or building your Etsy store. And I look forward to catching you in the comments. So I'll see you there. Cheers.